Leon Barmore is presented by the head coach of the University of Tennessee, Hall of Famer Pat Summitt.
Before I introduce Leon, let me take you to Ruston, Louisiana, home of the Lady Texters. Early in my coaching career, we started a series which we continue today. But when we went to Ruston and we took the bus to the gym, we got off the bus, and I'm always the last one to get off the bus, and people are out scalping tickets. It's a sellout. And there was this elderly couple saying, 2 tickets, please. And I looked over at the lady and I said, would you like 2 tickets? She goes, yes, ma'am, and I'll give you $50 for them. And I knew better than to take her money. And I said, oh, no, ma'am, you can have my tickets. I said, they gave me my tickets. She said, thank you so much. We go in, and I mean standing room only. I think the small gym probably seated about 3,500 people, and over 6,000 managed to get inside. Nothing legal about that. As the game started, and they all are standing up and chanting, and I've never been in an environment like this as a young coach, all of a sudden, I am hearing this shrill voice in my ear. And then I'm hearing this obnoxious man make comments about our play. I turned around, and guess who? The young couple that I gave tickets to. Now, I never will give away any more tickets to any Lady Texter fans, but I learned a lot about how dedicated and appreciative they are for their Lady Texters and for the coaches there. And when you fast forward 20 years with Leon Barmore, the players say it all. I think as coaches, we want to win, and we're competitive. And I thought I was competitive until I looked through the program at some of Leon's photographs. Take time to do that. That man was intense. But I love to compete against him. I told a coach one time, someday I'm going to stay in the game long enough to beat that man. He has that winning percentage, and I know I contributed at least 10 plus to the win column. But he brought out the best, not only in his players and his staff, but he brought out the best of a lot of us coaches and a lot of the programs because he set a standard, a high standard. They played with structure, and they played with a sense of urgency, and they forced you to bring it every possession. That's a reflection of a great coach. But what I've learned about Leon since, and many, many times, we eliminated each other one year or the other in postseason. But we never lost sight of the value of a friendship and a relationship with a competitor in our game. I think we taught our players some lessons, and I know Leon taught his players many, many lessons. When I got a phone call back in May, and he asked me, he left a voicemail. He's a man of few words. But he left a voicemail that he would like for me to present him tonight. I replayed it, and then I got very emotional because I think it speaks volumes that he can compete at the highest level with the greatest intensity and remain humble in victory and defeat. He is well respected by all of those that he has touched, be it players, be it coaches, and the game of basketball. Leon, tonight I want to thank you for being not only a pioneer, but a great difference maker for the women's game. We are continuing to grow our game, but we will always remember the impact and the footprints that you left on our game. My last year, I visited there, and I'll just tell you, I know he's a great husband, a great father, but he probably is the proudest grandparent I've ever been around. He has twin daughters, Ellie and Sophie, and after our practice, I went over and made my first home visit. I hope they will not forget that. Leon, come up. You're a Hall of Famer.
He's got to stand right there. Leon Barmore. Great coaches make great programs, and great programs set the bar high, and it helps the entire sport. Pat said it better than I. You were one of the pioneers that has helped the incredible growth of the women's game in our country. And for all of your accomplishments tonight, you take your place rightfully. By vote of the Honors Committee and by virtue of the power vested in the Basketball Hall of Fame trustees, I am privileged to induct you as a coach into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame with all rights and privileges. Congratulations.
Were you not happy when Pat said I was a man of few words? Pat, you're absolutely the best women's basketball coach in the history of our game, and I'm sure no one will ever replace that. Thank you very much for the introduction. The young lady that escorted me up here is Nell Fortner, who was the Olympic coach and our gold medal winning Olympic coach in 2000. And Nell, in my opinion, I've had a lot of coaches in my life help me and put me where I am today, but Nell Fortner, to me, was the very best. This is an incredible night for Leon Barmore and Louisiana Tech and women's basketball and my family, and I want to do something real quick without calling out all their names, but I want to ask my wife, Rachel Barmore, to stand, my teammates in college and high school to stand, and the people that came with me from Tech, Jim Oaks, the AD, Keith Richard, the men's basketball coach, and Kurt Butke, the women's coach who took my place, and any other friend that came with me. I would like for you to just stand right now, because it took a lot of effort to get here. James Worthy, I appreciate you recognizing all of us that are going in with you, because I can tell you from the moment they told me I was going in March and going to New Orleans and being around all of the inductees, I can tell you this is a tremendously nice group of people, and I don't think our sport, women, men of any kind in basketball, is in trouble whatsoever, because we've got some great people going in, and we got some great people in this room. I'm going to take you back real quick to 1956 when I picked up the first basketball. I was in the 6th grade. And in 1957, my mom and dad bought our first black and white TV. It was an Emerson. It changed my life totally, because when I went home and saw that black and white TV, first of all, I never thought we was going to get a TV. Other people had them, but I was kind of like you, Meadowlark. I didn't have much growing up. But I saw on that television set in 1957 Bob Cousy and the Boston Celtics. I am sitting there in this chair, and to my left are my heroes as I was growing up: Red Auerbach, Sam Jones, K.C. Jones. And actually, for the next 10 or 12 years, people, I tried to pass and shoot like Bob Cousy. I tried no, I did not try to play defense like K.C. Jones, because no, I could not do that. But they were the people that inspired me to play this game. And I say that with all my heart. In 61 and 62, we won 2 state championships in high school. In 1961 in Ruston, Louisiana, Willis Reed was playing 3 miles from me, and I would go see him play. He was a freshman at Grambling. He grew up in Bernice, Louisiana. At the same time, we won state in 1961. Bob Love and Lucy Jackson was playing 40 minutes for me and winning a state championship at Morehouse High. Elvin Hayes was about to begin his career at Rayville High School. I was surrounded by people that inspired me more than you'll ever know. So I went to Tech and played for Scotty Robertson at Louisiana Tech, and then in '67 I wanted to be a men's coach in high schools where I started. I wanted to get to college, but for 10 years I tried hard in the men's game to coach the best I could to get to college and coach men's basketball. Well, in 1977, after 10 years, I never looked like I wasn't going to make it, so I joined the Louisiana Tech women's basketball program. So if I got there for a couple of years, did well, I'd become a men's coach. Well, in 1977, I went to Delta State and saw 4 teams play. Pat Summitt was playing. She played Montclair State and a girl named Carol Blazowski. I saw Carol Blazowski get 44 points, and for the first time, I got turned on to women's basketball. I still want to be a men's coach, but I got turned on to women's basketball, and Carol is here tonight. Well, for 25 years, people, I stayed with women's basketball. The job at Tech came open a couple of times, and I applied, but it was the 4th or 5th year, and we'd won a national championship, and the president told me, you stay with the women. Well, I'm very glad I stayed with the women because it's a great sport. It's a lot of great young women playing this game today. Teresa Weatherspoon and Vicky on the film you just saw, I love them dearly with the New York Liberty. So for 25 years, yes, Coach Barmore was successful, and I want to tell you just about 3 things that stand out in my mind, real quick. It's the fact that we won 9 out of every 10 games that we played for 25 years. Number 2, when I first started out and we'd get on a plane in the early 80s and late 70s, they'd say, where you were from? I'd say Louisiana Tech, and said, oh, that's the home of Terry Bradshaw. I said, yes, sir, it is, and we're very proud of Terry. You get on a plane today, they're going to say, that's the home of the Lady Texters. I said, yes, it is. That's something to be proud of, people, very proud. And number 3, we played the best. We played Nancy Lieberman, Old Dominion. We played Cheryl Miller in USC. I still believe Cheryl Miller is one of the greatest to ever play. And we would play Pat in Tennessee. And I don't think I would be in the Hall of Fame today if I had not had the opportunity to play Pat Summitt in the Tennessee Vols, because everybody's got to have that person that can get them over the hump. Whether it's Magic and Bird, or whether it's Parrish and Worthy, you got to have that. And I had that. I'm going to be very quick, but I'm going to tell you, people, from the bottom of my heart, the 7 things that made me where I am today. I taught this, I believe this, and this is what it is. Number 1, when you put on your tennis shoes, perform. Number 2, be on time. Number 3, never lie and be honest. I think that's the biggest problem we have today. It's not a rock. It's being honest and telling the truth. And number 4, team before self. You cannot play for me if you're going to be a selfish player. And number 5, play defense. Number 6, go to class. And number 7, Christ must have a uniform on your team or you will lose. I want to close with one last little saying. I got caught again between James Worthy and Robert Parrish. Back in March, that you're supposed to sit by the phone. I'm about through. I met so many of you. I snuck in there and took a picture with Gail Goodrich last night and Casey Jones. I'm going to get there. I'll tell you, this is a wonderful group of people, and I'm so in awe. But let me tell you this. I got by the phone, I was waiting. I never thought the call would come, and when it came, I never thought I'd be here. But it did come, so that I had to pack real quick next day, go to New Orleans Final Four. So I go down, and everything we did, I seemed to be caught between James Worthy and Robert Parrish. We'd go across to the Final Four. Saw Roy Williams play in Syracuse and all those things. Well, we'd be walking along here, and Chief is here. Here I am, and here's James. And it was, hey, Chief. Hey, Chief. And then it was, hey, James. Hey, James. I get back home, and my wife, she said, honey, did anybody know you down there? I said, not only did they not know me, they never saw me. But James, Robert, look right up there. We're all up there together, and I'm glad I was between you. Thank you all so very much.